Boy, do we have a lot to catch up on. So in this video, I'm going to go over a bunch of things, but then over the next several videos, I'm going to go over each of them in detail, maybe have a couple of standalone episodes that work on their own. Let's get into it. So in the last few months, a lot of things have changed, and among them it's been things where I've seen my filmmaking journey kind of expand and increase at a higher rate and higher capacity, which is awesome. I like that. So among some of the new filmmaking stuff, I've gotten to work with a lot of new cameras in the recent months, which is kind of crazy, but that's part of the filmmaker's journey, right? And among them, I've gotten to finally pick up a drone. I settled on the DJI Mini 2 because I want something real small and compact that I can just kind of pack it in a kit and just be able to roll out at a moment's notice. I also was able to play around with a Red Komodo 6K, and that was super interesting. I'll go more on that a little later, but first I want to kind of dive into a little history. So I moved down to Minneapolis about October 2019, something like that. And the goal was really to, kind of see AT&T help boost my filmmaking journey, and just be able to kind of get my work seen and my work out there and see, some growth in that area. AT&T was a good bet to, work with, just because I know that it was one of those things that would give me opportunity down the line. I'd done a lot of work for them, previously, so I'll throw up some of those videos here. So you can see I did, an office-themed holiday video. That was really fun. We were able to do some, employee giving campaign stuff. I've worked with FirstNet videos. I've done things like when product launches happen, so like DirecTV Now, which was one of my bigger hits among AT&T, so that was really cool. So I've done a lot of work with them, and so the goal in coming down to Minneapolis was to do even more high-level work, and so I started doing that almost right away. The thing that happened next, no one could have foreseen, and that was a global pandemic, and that really shifted a lot of things and shifted my perspective a little bit, slowly but surely. Now, it's not to knock AT&T. It makes a lot of sense in what they were doing in closing down a lot of the stores like they did. They closed down the Mall of America because it was costing them about $130,000 per month. That is crazy. My manager used to joke that the closet space there cost just as much as the Superior store did per month. And that's honestly not that far off from what it would cost, for money to spent area ratio. It's about right. But that store was closed down, and so I had to find a new home, and I found that in the form of the West St. Paul store. And I started kind of trying to apply for more jobs within AT&T, and I had some leads that were in Chicago. I know that some people are aware of them, but to kind of dive a little deeper into them, essentially what those were was a marketing communications position where I'd be doing work with the market communication stuff, and so that's like composing emails on behalf of the VPGM and market-wide emails and things like that for promotional stuff that would come out, articles that would come out in the internal stuff that people would read, things like that. Well, it came out that COVID had kind of changed that position around a bunch, and I was not going to get that position. It was at that point that I kind of saw a shift in how I started to look at AT&T as a day-to-day job instead of something like a career. So I applied at all sorts of different jobs, and one of them was in Nashville. It would be working for a construction company that does all sorts of different kind of media work for different construction companies. But this company, they ended up having a higher end workflow where they're using Red cameras, and they let me know that in the interview. So I'm like, sweet, but I don't know how to use a Red camera. So, I'd let my family know about the opportunities, and my aunt told me, hey, we need to figure out a way to rent this camera for you. And so that's what happened, is she offered to rent this camera for me. If I ended up getting this job, I'd, pay her back. If not, she'd consider it sunken cost into, investing into my filmmaking journey. So that will be another episode that I plan on diving a little deeper into, but I was able to rent the Red Komodo, and it was such a joy to work with. That camera is crazy. Global shutter, super compact, The rig I had was very bare bones, but it was able to kind of get the job done and what it needed to. So with that job lead that kind of went down the tube, I decided to keep looking, and I found a few on LinkedIn here and there. I would apply to about 20 a day on LinkedIn, or just browsing some other stuff online, hoping to try and find maybe some advertising stuff in Minneapolis. Or elsewhere. I tried in different places like Florida and New York, and a lot of these places were just hiring people from around the areas so that they didn't have to pay for moving or anything like that. One day I came across this job posting that was on a closed filmmaking Facebook group for a company called Paper Boys, and what these guys do is wedding films, but on a super high level. Now I know I have the experience to do a wedding, but on the level that these guys do it, I can tell that their gear is just well beyond what I have and have ever used before. But regardless, I decided to apply and see where it went, and right away I got an email back saying, hey, we need to schedule an interview with you. Can we set it up for the next couple days? So I said sure, again assuming that they're probably going to choose somebody from around the area around them that they're going to choose, that they'll end up hiring, and I just really had very little faith in it. Well, that interview turned into 3 interviews, and they finally then offered me a job to work for them, but the catch is that this place is out in Virginia. At this point, when they offered me this job, it started to become a little bit real, where I'm like, oh boy, I have to pick up and move everything. That's not going to be an easy journey. And so I decided to accept it. And the reason being is because I knew that where I was in Minneapolis, I was not going to be doing the things that I love. And especially anymore with AT&T, I knew that it wasn't going to grow as a career anymore. And so I did. And that's where this video is being filmed right now, is out in Virginia. I decided to take this job with Paper Boys, and been here for about 3 weeks now, and it has been crazy. I moved out here in the middle of peak wedding season, so I've been doing doubleheader weekends, and it has been just a wild ride. But you know what? The thing of it is I'm doing what I love, and so it's not hard work to me, it's an investment into my career. All of this to tell you, if you have something that you really love doing, don't give up on it. I'll make another video about this eventually, but the journey out here, I ran into problem after problem after problem that seemed like I shouldn't come out here. Lots of reasons to give up. It's an investment into myself and into the things that I know I want, and turns out a lot of those things are right. Part of my filmmaking journey is now to a point where I need to work with higher end gear, and I don't think I'm able to do that on my own. And working with Paper Boys, I'm able to do that. These guys have some crazy gear. They're fully decked out with Blackmagic as a workflow, so we use it in the editing process for DaVinci Resolve, but also the cameras that shoot the weddings are all Blackmagic. So at Paper Boys, there's about 4 lead videographers, me being one of them, and we each get our own filmmaking kit. And so in my kit, I have a Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro, I have a 6K Pocket Pro, and a 4K Pocket. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And tune in for more episodes next month. I'll probably do one on the Red Komodo 6K, and we'll see where this journey in Virginia takes me. We'll see you later.